Thank you, Andres. As we take a look at the school police department budget, as already indicated, about $44.5 million for our sworn positions, and those are directly related to our officers in uniform that are patrolling our safe passages, responding to calls for service in our campuses. The 44.5 does not include some of the other duties such as detectives, our civilian staff, and even our school safety officers. But these are the folks that are dedicated to the school hours, responding to calls for service and ensuring the safety of our district. So when you take a look at what some of these budget items go for, particularly as pertains to doing what we can do to enhance the ability for students to actually feel safe and learn and ensure that the educational environment is not here for any type of punitive type measures. We take a look at our diversion program, and we have officers, all of our officers are trained in how our diversion program works, and as you know, that program is designed specifically to ensure our young people have a teachable moment, even when they commit a minor offense of the law. It's to not introduce them into the criminal justice system. I think without a doubt, LA School Police, along with the district and our PSA counselors, have had a what I would call probably developed a signature program in regards to diversion in LA County. We have dedicated some of our budget based on some of the vacancies that we had. We felt it extremely important to continue to ensure that our diversion program and the students who are in those programs, besides the PSA counselors who are directly working with them, we've now funded for each region the PSA counselors, and they are the so-called the conduit for the PSA counselors, and they are part of the equation when it comes to the 16 or so youth service centers throughout the district, the city of LA, where these transactions and these conversations actually take place in interaction with the students involved in diversion along with their parents. So about $592,000 comes from our budget to ensure that partnership. The $1.56 million for our mental health evaluation team, our MET unit. So along, with the diversion program, when you take a look at the student-centered services for our students that are experiencing any type of a mental health crisis, we are teamed up with our PSWs, and each day we have an officer who's in a soft uniform along with a PSW who responds to these mental health calls throughout the day, and we average about 600 calls a year for that particular purpose, and they work hand in hand. They're highly trained along with the PSW clinicians. As we go into the ending this fiscal year and going into the new fiscal year, we've recognized that as we continue to fill our vacancies, we also know that through attrition and hiring, which has been very robust, we've actually hired over the last year and a half, 2 years, about 50 officers. However, with the attrition, we know that those numbers sometimes don't look like an increase, so we've probably have a net increase of about 15 or so to 20 over the last year and a half, even though we've hired 50. And we've also recognized with those vacancies that we carry, we recognize we will probably hire another 25 next fiscal year, and through our, again, attrition, we realize we will not reach the entire $44 million of budgeted for complete hiring. To that end, in discussion with the superintendent, deputy superintendent, and district operations, we've realized that those positions really should be used toward our community-based safety programs, and this is something that Andres and his team are coordinating. So the $3.7 million will be carried over to the next budget year to ensure that the money that is for our vacancies that we realize we probably will not fill out next year will be utilized for the community-based safety program purposes to ensure it's being delivered in a direction that is appropriate for the continued safety experts. And again, this is something that we'll continue to evaluate as we continue to fill our vacancies, but recognize the money that is still, that we believe will be available because we're not going to fill all our vacancies. It's important that we utilize that money for the safety endeavors that we continue to take a look at. Andres?